Hello, everyone. Douglas Waltz, Old Man Comic Book Reviews. We're going to start off with the last issue of the series known simply as Ultra Mega, created entirely by James Herron. It is a Ultraman body horror, weird as heck combination of things, and it ends where I have questions. Makes me think I'm going to have to go back and start over again. Read them all. Luckily, I have all of them. But it's over until he tells us it's not. But it was a good book. Very interesting. I like the square bound. I like the long pages. I like that $7.99, but it's a really nice book. Next up is number 4 of the oddest book that DC's put out in a while. Absolute Martian Manhunter. This is the old days with the Vertigo and the whatchamacallits and the Who's What's and stuff, where it was just odd. So our writer is Dennis Camp. Art is Javier Rodriguez. And something is going on in the city with a heat wave, and the Martian's trying to figure it out while our boy John here is just trying to keep his marriage together. It's one of the most unique comic books I've read in a very long time. It's a good book. We're up to 4. I hope they don't cancel it at 6. That's what I have for that. X-Men number 18, my X book. I always pick one. If there's no New Mutants, then I go by Who's on the Team. Writers Jed MacKay, artist Emilio Laiso. When last we left our mutants, they were fighting another set of mutants who say that they're the X-Men, which doesn't go well for them because Cyclops is the smartest person ever. There's a fella in here that's out running behind the scenes who approaches Hank McCoy to come work with them, and he seems terrified, and I have no subtext for that. I don't understand why. So I'm not sure what's going on there, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. It's really weird. Maybe it's something I don't know about from not having read every X-Men book ever, because I won't. That's too many books for me to try and keep track of. So still a great team, a great book. This is my favorite X-Men book. It's one I like. So there you go. Alright, Godzilla is still rampaging through the Marvel Universe in Godzilla versus the Avengers. Our team is that classic team of Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Iron Man, and Captain America. And I gotta find your guys. They were called the New Avengers when the book first came out. So I'm looking for who's doing this, but in the meantime, enjoy this picture of Godzilla versus Fin Fang Foom. Fin Fang Foom. It's an interesting way of being told primarily in flashbacks. Our writer is David F. Walker. Our penciler is George Ginty. Carl Story is our inker. Jet Jaguar does show up, so that makes this one of the best of the Godzilla books. Anytime you have that. But most of it is told in flashback for them fighting, and Fin Fang Foom is fighting because he is the king of the monsters, not Godzilla. That's it. Next up is Godzilla versus Thor. We'll see how that goes. Then there's apparently a book coming out called Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, and I'm like, all right, well, everybody else got a turn. Oh, here we are. Moon Knight, number 9. Fist of Khonshu. Jed MacKay is our writer. Artist is Devmalia Pramanik. And they are trying to find a cure for glitter. Hank Pym is going to help Moon Knight because both of them love Tigra. And the only way to make glitter antidote is it must be tested. So we need to pick someone to test it on. That's right. Mark Spector. So it's good. We're getting to a final fight with Fairchild, I think, next month. So Moon Knight's always a fun time, as long as you're ready for craziness, because he's crazy. And then one of the best books Marvel puts out, he's got his own little series, Jeff the Land Shark. Writer is Kelly Thompson, artist is Toki Tokoro, and it's Jeff's having a day, and he finds an interdimensional gem that he wants to eat. The artwork is beautiful, and it's nice to have Jeff instead of these little one shots. He does team back up a little bit with Deadpool, where we first saw him, and apparently someone has stolen Jeff's shadow, so he must get it back. Otherwise, you gotta have your shadow, right? So yes, Jeff, I think it's a 5-issue. West Coast Avengers still hasn't been canceled. We're up to issue 8. I dig this crazy artwork on the cover. It's good stuff. Writer is Jerry Dugan. Artist is Danny Kim. We're still having an Ultron problem, where the cult that's on the West Coast, San Francisco, the sun-scorched Ultron, apparently one got thrown into the sun and is crazier than an Ultron should be. So, yeah, good book. Very, very... I don't like the subplot in the prison, but, what are you going to do, right? Yeah, West Coast Avengers. It is an odd book. The artwork is awesome. I didn't see who did this cover. You want me to find out? I can do that. Ben Harvey. All right, Ben Harvey. Ben Harvey did good. Danny Kim's artwork is always good. Got a little bit of that sketch to it. A little sketchy. But good stuff. Absolute Flash, number 4. Can you believe I'm still reading this thing? With Wally West, not Barry Allen. Wally is out. Barry might be dead. And we are in... Let's see. Jeff Lemire is our writer, so it's going to be good no matter what. A.L. Kaplan is our artist. They're doing weird things with the supervillains. For example, see this molten guy here? That's Heatwave. That's what kind of odd we're getting here. But Wally's on his own with Grodd. Remember, Grodd in this is a tiny little green monkey man. He's about like this. So all these things are different. So you really aren't treating it much like a Flash book, because none of it, takes place in the standard DC universe. Amazing Spider-Man number 6. Legacy number is 970. Here's a god-awful cover for you. They let John Romita Jr. back. Writers Joe Kelly. Scott Hanna is our inker. I don't know if they've told him to ink it less, I guess is a good way of putting it. So, yeah, as long as Romita's on this book, everyone's face is going to look funny. You know how you can tell if it's not good? Where Spider-Man's face is completely covered, and his face still looks funny. You see that? You see that? Yeah. So, but I have to have a Spider book. And I always prefer Amazing Spider-Man. That's where all the stuff goes. Black Cat comes back, which is nice. We do like Black Cat. But it's just so... And then they have this big reveal of some guy named Hellgate. And I don't know who this is. But that's a pretty good picture of a guy with axes who's going to fight Spider-Man and the Black Cat. So, there you go. I don't know. I don't know that they're ever going to get Romita off that book, though, so that's the part that kind of doesn't work for me. Sonic the Hedgehog DC Universe crossover number 4. Look at that. Metal Sonic and Batman. That's Flora putting in her 2 cents. Ian Flynn is our writer. Adam Bryce Thomas is our artist. These are the artist and writer for the Sonic comic book. So it's interesting to see their take on things. Their Superman is weird looking. See if I can find a good picture of Superman. See if you think he's weird looking too. So it's them trying to collect Chaos Emeralds. While they're collecting Chaos Emeralds, they're trying to do a thing where they open up the door to the dimensions so that Sonic and his guys can come back. There you go. See, look at this. Look at this. What kind of manga BS is this? That's the weirdest looking Superman I've ever seen. So, anyways, everyone's reunited. The big battle comes up next. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. That's Flower giving her a chain rattle. It's just her collar. She's not on a chain. All right. Number 79. Wow. Of Sonic the Hedgehog. You believe this? Story is Ian Flynn. Art is Adam Bryce Thomas. See? I told you. Mimic. They have had enough of Mimic. And it is time to take Mimic down. So they put together the team of Whisper the Wolf, Tangle the Lemur, Silver the Hedgehog, Cream the Rabbit, sort of, to bring Mimic out into the open. And it's very kind of doom and gloomy for a Sonic the Hedgehog book. Like, I get the feeling Whisper at any given point it was going to kill Mimic. That's not really that kind of book, so they didn't. But it's just sort of dark, and I'm kind of excited to see what's going on in the jungle with it's Sonic and who else is it? Sorry, I'm going back because there's something going to happen next issue in the jungle. If we all remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog, the jungle level kind of blows. It's Team Chaotix and Sonic going into the jungle next month. So we'll see. Well, speaking of Sonic, the Sonic DC, it was fun to hear Superman trash talk Eggman. I got a big kick out of that. All in, Green Lantern, 24. 2 years of me buying Green Lantern. What do I think? Let's find all of our things. This book, they're trying to do more than one storyline, so it does jump around. They're hunting down sub-emotions, like not the big ones back in when there was like 6 different ones. And there's a axolotl that embodies happiness that they have to steal from a prison. I want to get you the name of the prison because it's hilarious in just a second. But first, our writer is Jeremy Adams. Artist and cover artist is Zermanico. Zermanico is very good at this. The book looks awesome. But when Green Lantern and Star Sapphire go take them to prison, it is now called the Sunnyside Prison Camp, and everyone's happy to be there because of the axolotl and how it's playing with their emotions. So yeah, pretty good stuff. We're getting up to 25 next issue. Finally, but not least, is number 34 of Miles Morales. Remember when we found out his psychiatrist is a Hulk? That was neat. Cody Ziegler is our writer. Marco Renna is our artist. We are in chapter 3 of God War, and it's his psychiatrist beating the living crap out of a Greek god. She does a really good job. Hers is interesting in that she gets really, really big. It doesn't happen often. It has to do with adrenaline rush, and the longer she can keep the adrenaline flowing, the longer she can stay in that form. But when she crashes, she's just automatically not the Hulk anymore. She boom. So then they have Zip, who I don't like, and Miles teaming up to fight these birds that were one of the trials of Hercules. And they're just trying to... Ananse is trying to get Ares to fight him. But there are rules. And he's trying to do these things to manipulate and break the rules. So we'll get more God War next time. So there you go. That's the 2-week stack. Let's rip apart what's a superhero, what's not a superhero. You ever decide if Sonic was a superhero or not? Let's call him a superhero. Why not? Oh, let's see. We might have all superheroes again, folks. I'm sorry. Superhero. Superhero. That's my daughter's superhero. Because even though Godzilla is not a superhero, the Avengers are. So superhero. Martian Manhunter is barely a superhero. We're going to keep Ultramag as a superhero. So it looks like out of all of the books, these are all superhero books. I'm always telling you, oh, there's such a variety. You can get whatever you want. Yeah, sorry. So this year, well, whatever, this week is all superheroes. So now we talk about going to read comic books. Recently I was at Monster Bash in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a big fan of comic strips. Guilty pleasures, there's things like Get Fuzzy and Foxtrot. I can read them over and over again and have a great time reading them. There's the classics, Calvin and Hobbes, Cul-de-sac. The one I read right now is Wallace the Brave, which reminds me a lot of Cul-de-sac, so that makes my brain happy. Comic strips. But there we are at this Monster Bash convention, and they had a guy doing trivia questions, and I was the only one who knew the name of the mouse in Crazy Cat. And I'm like, okay, Crazy Cat's a really old comic strip. It's so pretty to look at. Well done. But I'm the only one who knew who Ignatz was. It's a little sad. I borrowed a book from the library about Crazy Cat, daily strips. I'd like to find a big volume, hardcover or whatever, of the Sunday strips, because those things were a beast back in the day. They let the artists just go berserk. You got a whole page in the comics, the Sunday funnies. Some of those books or strips, like Crazy Cat got a big one. There's like I think a Little Nemo in Slumberland. Thimble Theater, which was Popeye. What was the other one? Prince Valiant. They were a big. I never was really a big Prince Valiant fan, but it was pretty to look at, and it had too many words for me for a comic strip. Remember, I was a kid reading these strips. So, what are you gonna do? But you can. That's the nice thing, though. You pick what you want to read. You look at things, and if you don't like it, if you borrow it from the library first or read it online, then it's no problem. It's not taking up space. You're not like this guy who has 45 short boxes of comic books stashed in 2 different closets in the house. One is actually nothing except for short boxes of comic books in the closet. That's a lot of boxes. And when you have to switch to short boxes, because you get older, the long boxes, they bend when you pick them up, and they're too freaking heavy. So, but a lot of people I know love comic books, comic strips, things like that, and don't have a single paper copy at their house. They'll borrow from the library, like I said. They'll read them electronically, which is everywhere now. So you have a lot of different options on the ways that you can read and enjoy comic books. And remember, even though currently I have nothing but a stack of, how many of them are in here? 13, lucky number 13 comic books. Nothing but superheroes. People in their long johns fighting each other. Just a great time. I still, like I said when I talked about Ultra Mega right off the top of the show, I still don't know what's going on. I know what the fight is, but I'm not really sure of that ending. I'm like, okay. But the guy who wrote it knows what the ending's about, so, pick his brain or read it again or find him online and go, dude, what was that ending about? So, there's my speech. Oh, and if you want to, in the comments, wish the old man comic book reviews a happy 63rd birthday. I would like that very much. So thank you very much for watching the show as always. Be sure to subscribe if you don't. I'm trying to get up to the 1,000 subscribers to maybe monetize the channel if I can. Still working on that. Apparently you can buy subscribers, but they can tell you bought them, so I'm not going to do that. If you don't want to, I'm not going to buy something like that. If you don't want to be here, then don't. But if you do want to be here, I'll try to be here every week. I mean, I have no excuse currently being unemployed, laid off from my job. So just sitting here collecting severance package. So we'll see. So in the meantime, go read a comic book.